Hello, everybody. It's been a long, long time coming, and we can finally say once again, welcome back to the Ballrooms and Bachelors podcast, where we talk about life, dance, and all things Bachelor. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Camille.
Wow, it feels so crazy to be back. It's like I said, even just sitting here doing this is so crazy. But thank you guys for again for watching. So we wanted to start off this first episode since it's been such a long time, over 2 years, kind of just updating you about who we are and then also what we've kind of been up to these last 2 years. There's been a lot for sure.
Yes.
So do you want to get started or me?
Okay. I can. Well, you get started.
Okay, okay.
Tell the whole story of like why
Yes.
we started to restart the podcast at this time.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, cool. So, man, a lot has happened, so like we've talked about. I am now a senior or going into my senior year of college, which is so crazy because when we started the podcast, I was like just out of freshman year or going into sophomore year or something like that. I was like in the first
yeah.
year or two of college. So now just kind of winding down and only having like a year,
Mhm.
just under a year left is just so crazy. But it's also very fulfilling because I have like so many dreams and aspirations and goals what I want to do post graduation. So kind of being closer to those things is gonna be really fun.
It's an exciting time.
I know it totally is for sure. So I have that kind of going on, and then from the last time we spoke, kind of on the dance side, I actually joined my school's dance club, which was really, really cool. It's been one of the best things I've ever done. Everybody's so sweet, and I have made so many amazing friends from that club. And everybody from the studio has come and watched me and us for all the showcases we have because we do a showcase at the end of every semester, and that's been super cool. So I've been so grateful that you guys have come to support, and that's been awesome.
It's always a good fun time.
Yes, so definitely. Like everybody in the audience goes crazy and stuff. It's just so much fun. But yeah, so I've had that going on. And then actually one of the biggest things that I did, and it was something that I've wanted to do for such a long time, was I actually studied abroad for the entire spring semester last year in 2024. And it was the best thing I've ever done. It was just so much fun. And just like the dance club thing, and I think it's just because with study abroad, you're with so many people every day. Kind of when you're on campus, you maybe you see similar people, but then you might see different people as well. But it's a very limited amount of people that go abroad for a semester in a specific location. So you get so close to everybody. And it was just so cool because I still stay in contact with all my friends to this day and we're just still very close. And it's been really awesome. So I went to England, which was great, and went all around Europe. And actually, I loved it so much that I went abroad again for another program this past June last month. And so, yeah, if you have the chance to study abroad, if you're in college, definitely do it. But yeah, and then what's the next thing? Dude, oh, you're right. Yes, I'm sorry.
Biggest
Yeah,
thing.
one of the biggest things I know. So I actually really, really cool. While we were taking a break from this podcast, in one of my school classes, I was doing a content creation class. It was one of my favorite professors, Professor Canetti. Hey, if you're watching this, who teaches that. And that was all about podcasting and making content on Instagram and TikTok and everything like that. And so basically, the main assignment for that class was to make a podcast, a 3 episode podcast. And that was really cool because I learned a lot of cool things about podcasting and how to network and how to use social media for podcasting. And obviously, with this, we use Zoom and kind of do it virtually usually. But that one was a little bit more professional because we had like 3 cameras and we would do multi-camera editing and go back and forth and real mics and everything like that. And yeah, that was really fun. If you want to check it out, it's called His Boots, Her Heels. So go check it out on YouTube if you want to see it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. It's been crazy, but I'm so glad to be back.
I'm checking our notes to make sure you didn't forget anything.
Yes, please
Because
tell me.
these things. Okay.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Some stuff, and maybe also just talk about how long you've been watching the Bachelor shows and Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
And then after that, then we'll go.
Cool. Awesome. So the last thing I want to talk about before all the stuff we're watching everything, I am really, really excited that I'm actually working on a new showcase with my instructor, Elena, who we've talked about many times on this podcast.
She was a guest.
She was a guest, so go back.
Very last episode?
Either very last or one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
season 1.
Season 1, like it was around New Year's that we posted, so go check it out. It was a really cool conversation. But it's really cool because it's a hip hop routine, which I wanted to do a hip hop routine with Elena for such a long time because she's so great at hip hop choreography. But also it's really has a lot more to do with like mental health. It's not like obviously with hip hop, it's really fun and energetic and everything like that. But you're usually like telling more of like a story with the. I guess you're not really trying to tell a story with about like your own life, but through the song, usually with the hip hop routine. But there was a song I found that really depicted a lot of stuff that I wanted to kind of show, things that I went through and healed and overcame and everything like that. And so that's something that we're working on, and I'm hoping that we'll perform it in like the next month or two. So that'll be really exciting. And then yeah, yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I'm very excited. And then so how long I've been watching the Bachelor shows and not Dancing with the Stars, so just Bachelor shows. How long I've been watching the Bachelor shows? That's a very good question because it's been such a long time because like so many seasons has happened, and as you know, like especially with all like the spin-off shows and one-offs, everything like I don't know if you remember Listen to Your Heart and all that stuff, the music show in the pandemic. I was about to say it's like they throw those like curveballs of like, oh, one season of this, like Bachelor Pad, Winter Games,
Yeah.
all that stuff. It's so hard to keep track. But my first season of The Bachelorette, because I started watching The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
So my first season of The Bachelorette was Emily Maynard, which was really cool. And it was actually such a random thing because I think my mom had watched previous seasons prior and it was coming on TV one night. I actually think it was when Dancing with the Stars was on. It was like one of those 1 hour like results shows. And then The Bachelorette premiere was on. She's like, oh, you should watch this. Like, I think you'd like it. And I was like, oh, this is such a fun show after I watched it. So I kind of fell into the deep end after that. And so obviously my first Bachelor season was Sean Lowe after Emily's season. And yeah, so I'm trying to remember how long
Stars.
did what happened?
For Dancing with
Oh,
the
for
Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, yes. So for Dancing with the Stars, I started watching in season 4, which was 2007, I believe. Sounds right because I know they started in 2005, and the champion that season was Apollo and Julianne. So, and there was actually a dance. I talked about this in one of our other episodes, but they did wasn't their freestyle dance because their freestyle dance was obviously very iconic, but they did a dance that was towards the finale that was a paso. And that was really the dance that made me want to eventually start ballroom dancing and just dance in general. Like it really inspired me as like an 8, 9-year-old kid. I was like, oh, that looks really fun. I'd love to do that. So yeah, Dancing with the Stars obviously had a big impact in my life. And yeah, so that definitely been watching a very long time.
And when did you join Dance with Me? How many years has it been?
Wow. Yeah, we're coming up on 4 years, which is crazy. Yeah, I started in September. I actually know the date. It's September 24th of 2021. It was my first intro lesson, and it's just so crazy. And I know you're going to talk about how long you've been there and everything, but as you probably know, it's crazy how much you do in that amount of time. Like when you think about like looking back and just thinking back, you're like, man, I've done so many showcases and lessons and stuff. Like you really, there's so much stuff that you do. And yeah, it's obviously been it's been one of the best things I've ever started. And obviously dancing has really become a lifelong passion for me, obviously at the studio and outside as well. And all of us at our studio, specifically in Glen Rock, we're very, very close obviously, and we've started this podcast because of this. So there's a lot of opportunities that come out of joining like a studio like this and the community. So yeah, it's been really cool, but it's been awesome for sure.
Yes, and I will say like I've loved watching Matthew's his dance club. Their showcases are awesome. Like they're your spot. I don't know how you the end of the year show.
Yeah, showcase. Yeah, the showcase.
It's just cool and like we've gone as a group and like he can't go with us necessarily, but a bunch of us typically we go out to eat and then we go watch the show and it's fun and like we're all there like cheering. And the last time we were there, we were in the front and there was a whole group that was like
it's like a whole fan section. I love that.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a great time, especially because with my dance club, I'm doing a lot of other dances that I don't usually do in the studio. So I've gotten a lot more exposure to with like jazz, contemporary, hip hop, all that stuff. So thank you guys again for coming to support. It's been fun.
Yes.
So now your turn.
Yeah. So so I'm in my mid 30s. It's scary because I think when the last time we did the podcast, I was saying early 30s. Now I have to say mid 30s. I have a full-time job in the pharmaceutical industry. I work in CAR-T cell therapy. I was also a competitive figure skater for 20 years before I started ballroom dancing. When I was figure skating, I also did ballet, tap, jazz, and stuff growing up, like theater classes and things like that. So I've always I skated since I was 6 and I, competed till I was 26. And I joined Dance with Me in 2016. It was the end of June.
That's crazy.
And I'm like trying to tie my whole story together. I'm looking at stuff. So basically, I just hit my 9-year dance anniversary.
Congrats. That's so awesome.
Thank you. Yes, I know. I was like, so I was actually on a trip to Nashville like a week ago, and it was during the time with the dance anniversary. And I was like, okay, if I was home, I probably would have like pulled down a bunch of pictures and videos and made it real or like like I typically do. But
Right,
it was like I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
vacation. So, but I did take some time while my friend and I were at the hotel pool, and I was going through my Instagram and I was like looking at old clips and stuff of things like over the years, like for dance, and I was sharing it. Completely spammed my story. But like there was one part and I was like, and I can't forget about how like Matthew and I did the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I was sitting there with my friend and I guess like going back to why we stopped the podcast, I, you know, around the time that had happened, like I had to take a 4 month break from the dance studio. Like it was a lot of things happened. Like the instructor Yuri that I was working with, he left. And he's now back working with the studio. So that was, you know, it was hard. I got like sick for like a week and a half. I don't think I've been that sick in a long time. There were a lot of changes at my full-time job and which are still persisting.
Yeah.
All these years later. But that's pharma for you.
Yeah.
And I, you know, at that time when I took that break, like I built myself back up and I came back to the studio. Like it was April we stopped. I came back in the summer and you know, I built myself up to be able to do like one big competition the next spring, like March, and I did Latin Standard Social, and I did 2 showcases. One of them was a new one that I had kind of like I did iterations of it through some of the competitions like coming up or the events coming up to it. And this is when you were away, like on
yeah.
And then I also did like when Yuri left, I started working with Fabio, who was he did Latin with me, and I continued to work with David. My showcase was with Elena and Yvette, that is from the Fort Lee studio, who I've known for many years. And I did another showcase that like I probably talked about in previous episodes. I did a Cell Block Tango showcase, like when I first joined Dance With Me.
Yeah.
So like all those years later, I said to David, like, I want to recreate it and just show like how much I've grown since then.
Yeah.
So like I really went all out at that competition. And then at that point, I again took a longer break. I mean, I've still been involved with the studio. Like I did last summer, I won 3 dances in a contest.
I remember that.
So I went and I did 3 sambas at the competition. But you know, I'm just thinking like I've been still taking a break. However, recently you know, I've been back at the studio. Elena's working on another hip hop showcase myself.
Yes.
And I think right now, like I don't want to get into all the details of it, but it is kind of like a song. It's a song, and the whole message and the way I'm performing it and everything, like it's very important to me. And today I bought my plane tickets to go to the Dallas competition at the end of August.
That's so awesome.
It's the 20-year anniversary of Dance With Me. I've just hit my 9-year dance anniversary. I'm going into my 10th year. This showcase and the performance and everything's really important to me. So you know, all of these things were adding up of kind of like, you know, I really enjoyed the time we did the podcast.
Yeah.
Also, we were looking ahead because I knew you were looking at study abroad, and we were like, I don't know how we're going to film. And I think that's where at that point I was kind of like, I think we just need to stop. But I think, you know, I've also gone through some changes in my life recently. I just needed to get back to some other creative projects too. I mean, I danced and of course, but I think there's just like things like this and different types of ways of expressing myself. I wanted to do that. So I thought about this on the vacation.
It was such a random thing too. I was not expecting it. It was so funny.
I sat on it for a few days and I was like hoping I was going to run into you last Tuesday. And I think then you didn't come to the studio.
No, I wasn't in class.
Wasn't even if you can, I had to leave before you were going to get there, and I would just send you a voice note. I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to tell you, do you want to start the podcast again? Because the other thing too, like if you're a fan of the Bachelor franchise, you know that there was recently a big upheaval and they completely rehired
like all the showrunners and producers and everything like that. Yeah.
The crew is completely different. So when we started the podcast, it was the first time they were having 2 bachelorettes. And that was a reason why we were like, this is a perfect time to start. Because there's like a major change to the show that we can kind of like hop into and describe and talk about.
Right.
And I think that was, you know, like everything was coming together of like, I'm coming back to do the showcase. Like I've had the changes going on. Bachelor in Paradise is changing. You know, it's been a decent amount of time. You know, you've done your study abroad stuff. You had extra experience with like the podcast and things like that and all of that. And I was just like, well, let me see if you want to do the podcast.
It was the last thing I had in my mind when you texted me. It was so funny because I was like, I think the thing was, like you said, our schedules were just so like chaotic. I think at the time, like you said, we had so many things going on in our lives that it obviously made sense to kind of take a break. But I'm not gonna speak for you, but I can imagine. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I was very sad when we stopped it because
Yeah.
we both had, I think, a really good time.
Hmm.
And like I was texting you when you sent me this that I kind of was secretly hopeful that we would
Yeah.
do the podcast, even if it wasn't consistent or just in some aspect that we
Yeah.
came back to
Yeah.
Ballrooms and Bachelors in some way. But I really did not expect it just because of how busy our schedules are,
Yeah.
even up to this day. So when you texted me and like I read the voice note or the voice message, the transcript before I sent it, I'm like, no way. It was so great. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But I agree. I think it really timing makes sense for sure.
Yeah, and that's where, so right now we've just agreed to stick with the summer.
Yeah.
The fall always is naturally crazier because there's more shows, it's a different type of schedule, things
Yeah.
like that. I think like we're in different stages of our lives, and I
Yeah.
kind of like, I said to Matthew at the time too, because like I felt bad and I was upset, but I think it was like, well, I think we just needed
I
to
just needed
some time. And I said, look, go do your
do
study
stuff.
abroad,
Yeah.
do the stuff, like enjoy college. Like when I was in college, I was still competing for skating, and I coached skating then, and
Mhm.
like that's what I was juggling, and I was doing research with school and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
I was like, go enjoy your
Yeah.
everything. And then I think now we have a different perspective on it.
Totally.
So,
Totally.
yeah, I think that's where it just feels like the right time. There's a bunch of new friends from the studio that I hope are watching.
I hope so.
You
Because
better be
you
watching.
better be watching.
Some of you have like that you were here with us the last time we had the podcast, and then we're excited to have new friends of the podcast.
Yes.
That's what we called them.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's really it. I'm going through our notes.
Yes.
And if maybe without further ado, we'll dive into Bachelor in Paradise.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna switch documents.
Yeah, I already have my notes open. So on The Bachelor in Paradise, so obviously the premiere was last night, and it was crazy because it was 3 hours long. It seems like for like, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but sometimes with these 3 hour things, they feel so long, like much longer than they probably should be.
Yeah.
Because I know we were texting like at like 10:40, ended at 11. We're like, I'm about to crash out right now. I can't. But I thought an overall very good episode. Like you were talking about, pretty much the entire like head crew level and the top kind of executives and showrunners and everything are all new. They completely cleaned house from the last season of The Bachelor to now.
Yeah.
And it was a very big story. So if you don't know about it, you can research it. But so obviously with that all those changes, one of the things was that they are now in a new location. We're not in Mexico anymore. We're now in Costa Rica. And it looked really nice. I thought the place, and I thought it was really cool because it's like much bigger than like it seemed like the people actually liked it, like all the people.
Yeah, well, that's what I was funny. I was watching he was like from Katie's season.
Yeah.
I was like on the Instagram, and he said something about, he's like, this is like luxury. There's this like luxury place.
Yeah.
It was like when we were in Playa Escondida in Mexico when they filmed the old location. He's like, I felt like we were camping and like the bugs and whatever. And I'm just like, well, we can get to the wildlife because there's some different.
There's some crazy stuff.
But yeah.
So it's been cool. So it's cool that they have a new location. I guess we could get started with kind of how this episode started off. So the episode started off with everybody kind of just, I guess, arriving to the beach / resort, because I guess it's not really, I mean, there's a beach, but it's a resort too. So it's like, but just everybody arriving to Paradise. And so Spencer was first. And I didn't really expect him to arrive first. And he was so, I see you, if you see you're not going to see the story because it was just today, but Camille posted a story on our podcast Instagram that had something to do with what Spencer was doing, the matcha.
The matcha, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he made the comment about the matcha. Like, he's like, well, I'm like a matcha person. Like, some people, they think it tastes like dirt, and some people like matcha, like I'm an acquired taste.
Yes.
I'm just saying matcha. I'm not talking about Spencer, but I'm like, I am a matcha girl. So it was just funny. I got my matcha this morning, and I was just like, I'm sorry if you guys saw the story and you didn't get it. You should be watching the episode.
Yes. Yes. It's like, that's how it pays off. If you watch the episode, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was really fun. I feel like that's going to become like an iconic moment.
Yes.
And so he arrived, and then Alex survived as the first girl. I was really surprised about that because I thought they might have somebody that's maybe not as new, but I thought that was really cool. And I've always loved Alex. Yeah. I honestly thought from Grand Season that she was actually going to make it further than she did.
Yes.
I saw so many people in like Bachelor Nation saying that, oh, she should have gone to hometowns and everything like that. They didn't really talk very much, even though she got the first one-on-one date and she got the first impression rose. I think she did. Could be wrong. Someone fact check me on that.
Because everybody was like, that was the thing. They went on that date,
Yes.
and it was like this big thing. She brought the llama the first time,
Yes.
which was the other thing, and I really liked her. And then it kind of just like
It fizzled out. And yes, and now I'm correct.
Yeah.
That it was she did get the first impression
Yeah.
was because the whole caveat was whoever gets it gets the first one on one day. So that's what it was. But yeah, so I have always loved her and I think she was great. And it kind of started off there that they were already talking about, oh, I think, and I guess it's kind of just like they're gonna start doing that because it's just the only two people there. But they're like, oh, I think that he seems cool and everything like that. And that's just always really funny how it's like, oh, it's just them. But
it's so awkward because I feel like they trickle them. I don't know if it's just the way they edit it, but it's like they trickle them in so slowly. So like he's there, he's the only person there. He's like wandering around, talking to himself. I mean, I'm sure they take the time to do like the sit down, like in the moment
in the ITMs or in the moment,
interviews, but like then it's like, okay, now it's just the two of them, and then they send, I mean, I don't know if I'm jumping too far, they send Lexi down, and then it's like he's there with the two girls and they're talking, and then that was the funniest part about it, where they were like, oh my gosh, I didn't imagine him to be this talking.
No, I know.
And they're like, oh, you're a little, like, you're a yapper. And recently I've been having this joke with one of our friends from the studio about like they don't like the word yapper. And so I was just like, well, I mean, I just like, I don't know. I don't necessarily perceive it as a negative connotation, but the way they reacted, he reacted, I'm like, okay, maybe it is a negative.
Maybe it's a negative, exactly.
I talk a lot.
No, me too. So
I mean, that's why our podcast can be long. So,
yes.
But I think that's where I was just like, I don't know. I don't perceive it as a negative thing, but
no, totally. And I literally put that in my notes. I said Spencer the Yapper, and then I said can relate. So I was like, it's like I could definitely relate. And you know what's so crazy? I didn't expect Lexi at all.
No.
Because with everything she talked about, opening up about all the struggles she's been through and everything like that. And I kind of expected that to be when she left The Bachelor because of everything she was saying and stuff like that. She was kind of making it seem like, oh, I kind of want to kickstart, I guess, getting in a relationship, all that kind of stuff. I think it's awesome that she's there. But I just thought if she was having that mindset, she wouldn't date on TV again. Yeah, it's such a hard thing, but you never know.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I do feel like they pull the people that they want to come and ask them who they're interested in, and that's what causes them to ask other people.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. And I really like Lexi a lot.
Me too. She's very sweet.
We'll keep getting through that a bit. I think what was just funny was like we're bouncing around. Like my mom was sitting there watching everything. I had to like rewatch part of it earlier in the day today.
Yeah.
And my mom like starts talking to me. It's fine. Like normally when we sit and watch the show, but I haven't had to sit and take notes on the show in a long time.
Me too.
Need to just, if I watch it with her, I watch it with her, but I gotta watch it again to take notes. She's like complaining. She's like, I don't understand what they're talking about. This whole thing. They're talking about like the ick and then this thing.
Yeah.
This is not catered to your audience.
This is not. It's not.
Like wait till the Goldens arrive. Maybe
maybe it might work out. Yeah.
Getting any of it, and I'm just like, I'm so like she's not. I don't know. She wasn't following.
That's so funny.
I really get it. I was just like, Mom, if you want to go to bed, it's fine. I understand. Don't feel obligated. Oh my gosh. Do you have the
Jeremy was next. I have the order. So Jeremy was next. And I just like Lexi, I was not expecting him either. But I could kind of see it.
Not me dropping. It's fine. Keep talking.
I guess I could kind of see it because he made it to hometowns. He did make it to hometowns on Gen season because he went to Stu Leonard's. Yes, that's iconic because we know it from our area. I've always liked Jeremy. And I think he had a one-on-one date with Jen too. I could be wrong. I don't know where it would have been, but I haven't.
At one point.
Yeah,
I think it was like the last one before
hometowns. Yeah. And so I think it's cool that he's there. Again, I've kind of noticed with this season, and we'll get through everybody, but I've kind of noticed that they're really bringing in like a lot of people that haven't been in the franchise for a little bit, and then people who were just on last season or on Jen's season or Grant or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
well, there was no Paradise last year.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was 1 year that they skipped Paradise.
Yeah.
And now
which was needed.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And they're gonna skip the Bachelorette
this like, go around
when it would have been like
this coming
the next year, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like a lot longer.
Yeah. So probably next thing will be Bachelor in January. Will be the next thing.
Well, no, Golden Bachelor.
Golden Bachelor, right? I had this. I think in the fall. Yeah.
I think they already set who the Golden Bachelor and the Bachelor are.
Did you not see the scandal?
I think I saw something about this. Okay,
we could talk about that another day.
Maybe we'll do that next week because I think I heard about it, and I'm behind on listening on all the other podcasts, like recapping all this stuff.
So we'll get to that next week. So next was Jonathan,
Yeah.
and so I'm very excited because I love Jonathan. I think he's super
Yeah.
cool. I've always, again on Jen season, I thought I could have seen them together because I remember it was Hawaii, right? I think they were in Hawaii. I remember, I think it was Hawaii on the where they did the finale and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did a one-on-one date and they were going around and everything like that. And even before that,
Hmm.
he just has just such like bubbly personality and is so outgoing and everything. And so I think he's perfect for Paradise
Yeah.
because it's that really like outgoing kind of environment. So
When he supported Jen when she was on Dancing with the Stars, and it was
yes,
like they didn't end up dating, but like
even though people wanted them to,
yeah, yeah, but he was there to
yeah,
support
support
her and
her.
everything. Because then, if you tune into the Bachelor shows, you know what happened with Jen.
Yes.
But no, but like yeah, Jonathan, we like Jonathan.
Yes, Jonathan's awesome. So next was Bailey.
Yeah,
And I thought it was really funny because she kind of gave that like influencer vibe to me with being the whole like, oh, she wants a guy who does selfies and sunsets because she doesn't want to be by herself. Me too. I want somebody the same thing.
the last time she said
Yeah, oh, that's true.
yeah, like their intros were very like it was very different.
He's very different.
I'm like, that's why I think my mom was just like, what is she talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
On social media.
I
You don't
know.
understand this stuff.
I know. Who said, because I have in my notes that somebody said honey to the tea. Was that Bailey or was that Jonathan? Because I know somebody said that, and I don't know who said it. That was an iconic line. Somebody said it. Um, and then just like again with when Spencer and and Alex when they were there, now everybody was just kind of talking about
Yeah,
again maybe
yeah.
liking each other, who might be a cool fit or a good fit for each other. And then oh man, my boy Hakeem is next.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know we were talking about this last night. I was like I missed him because he's definitely chaotic, like we talked about,
Like chaotic energy, but like
like
funny.
funny.
He's yeah. And especially later on.
Yeah,
But
especially later on. Yes, we'll get to that.
well, he says, let's go. And I
Yeah,
think, but I mean, like, it was like, so Matthew always will be like, let's go. And that's
yeah,
why when I was like, we're going to make the reel to announce that we're doing the podcast, you're going to say, let's go. And then you went
yeah,
all out, you committed to it. And then
yes.
Hakeem walks in to the
And
beach. He's like,
let's go.
you're coming, Matthew.
You know what? Hey, we're on the same wavelength, I
Yeah.
guess. Like let's go, Hakeem. But and then so then I don't really know what the I just have in my notes that Bailey and Jeremy talked. So again, it's just kind of again talking about
Yeah.
what they're kind of looking for. Next person to arrive was Jess. So and I love Jess. She's really
Yeah.
cool. She has a
Yeah.
very same thing like Jonathan, very upbeat personality,
Mhm.
very bubbly. I think again works very well in Paradise. She had a very interesting kind of I guess arc and I guess kind of journey on this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
She went through a lot, and we'll get to that for sure. But it started out with that she is interested in Spencer and that she was already into him
Mhm.
from the beginning. That was kind of interesting because in her ITM or just something like it wasn't even a few minutes after she had already like arrived that she was like, "Oh, I'm eyeing Spencer."
And when she got there and he's like walking around, he was just like, let me give you a tour.
Yes,
First 1 year, you probably know the most about the place.
exactly.
Okay. Oh
And
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. So next, very surprising because no one really knew who he was, Kyle from Katie's season. It was just like I like when they played the like kind of like flashback, I was like, okay, I remember,
Let
but
me get
like
brief.
yeah, exactly. And then he was like, oh yeah, I like to leave. I like to keep a low profile, so I guess that kind of makes sense. And then he was really playing it up that like nobody knows him, and then he was
Yeah.
like, oh, they're forgetting my name. I was like, oh, what is his name again?
What's his name? What's his
They,
name?
they were like they
Yeah,
edited
yeah,
it
yeah,
that
yeah.
way. It was so funny. And then Zoe was next,
Yeah.
which very interesting. Just like on Grand Season, giving that sassy personality,
Mhm.
giving like I'm here, no like I'm here, no one's gonna get in my way, which I think is really
Yeah.
cool. But can really I guess can irk some people that are also on the show. And it still shocks me. I don't know, and she talked about this, and I don't know this still
Mhm.
shocks me. I don't know if you feel the same way, that she got to top three without a one-on-one date.
Yeah.
During Grant's the entire season, I was like, how is that possible?
Yeah. And she, I don't want to say caused. She was the trigger for a lot of drama
Yes,
on top of it. So, I
exactly.
mean, not that she's gonna keep bringing that up, but like, yeah.
She was.
And I wasn't, I mean, like, we didn't do the podcast then. I wasn't thrilled with like some of her actions back then, but like, if you watch this long enough, like we're not passing judgment on these people.
No,
as
no.
people. We're like talking about the show and how they're portrayed, like their character on the
Exactly.
show. Because like, yeah,
it's usually
yeah.
so different. Because like we've seen like
Yeah.
the like so like kind of like whatever like so-called villains on the show, and then you see them out in like everyday life or doing regular interviews,
Yeah.
and they're like normal people. So it's just like they're not like the character or whatever, however they try to
Yeah.
portray. But again, that still shocks me for sure. Ricky from Jen's season was next, which I didn't remember until again, like they kind of, I guess did like a playback
Yeah.
of something. And then everybody is loving him. Like right when he walked
Oh, yeah,
in,
yeah,
they were just like, "Oh, I'm eyeing that guy."
yeah.
And it was like so funny. It's yeah, for sure. Again, I think he's super cool, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. There really wasn't.
People?
There's a
Oh,
few
no.
more
Well, later on.
later.
That was the
Well,
first group.
Brian,
Oh, Brian. I forgot about Brian.
yeah,
Yeah.
Brian, and he said he's a man of mystery. So it's like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
because I think everyone else came
Yeah,
later. Yeah, I'm going through my notes from the
I
beginning.
just had it. They showed the car scandal. Who was that with? Was that with Spencer or with
No, it was Brian.
Brian,
And Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Actually,
Yes.
and I forgot if it was Jer. I don't know. Yeah, and I don't. They chose a lot of people that I like was not the biggest like they're fine. I just personally wasn't the biggest fan of a
Yeah.
lot of them on the shows that they were on. But
Mhm.
I'm just like, you know, like this the whole point with Paradise is like you get to see them in a different light. Like in the previous show, they're there going for the like
The main
attention
person.
of the
Yeah.
main person. This is like they have time to like interact. And typically Bachelor in Paradise is more successful couples. The last season, I don't think any couples survived.
No, and like we kind of forget that season.
Yeah, we forget that season. That's why they skipped a season. And like before that, I think yeah, I mean it will be interesting to see because like the Goldens are gonna come next week and
Yes,
that's gonna
that'll be
change the
interesting.
dynamic.
There actually is one more person, Kat from Zach's
Oh my gosh,
season.
how do I forget
I did,
that?
and I was like, I have that in my notes. And then I
Yeah.
love the whole how like they showed her smashing the pinata from the Paradise season. I was just like, I forgot about that until they showed. I was
Yeah.
like, that was so crazy.
Yeah, Kat was engaged at the end of the last season of Bachelor in Paradise, and then they split up. So, you know, and she was a villain in her season.
I think so. Yes, because wasn't she the yeah, she was the one, and now it's all coming back to me. I think it was when she was gonna have, or Charity was gonna have a one-on-one date. She stole him, and then they like went to go, I guess were kissing, whatever. And then remember how like, and then I think
But it wasn't even Charity that was mad, it was somebody else.
who was it? Because it was somebody that I forgot. But it was like a whole because they were in London and they had like, oh, I wanted tea, and I wanted to have a tea date, and then she was like crying. But he said Charity, and then Zach ended up getting sick, so Charity didn't get the date. They had to wait until the next place that they went to. So I think that was the whole problem.
Okay,
Yeah, it's all coming back to me.
but I liked Kat after last season of Paradise.
Me too.
So like I'm happy for her to be there.
Me too.
Like good. The promo clips are not making me happy.
No.
But I'm thinking like what else at the beginning of the episode?
They just showed, I guess that Kat, I guess got a lot of mean online comments,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and I guess that's kind of. I'm sure they probably get some media training usually on these type of shows. I mean, it's probably hard. They have to have, and I've heard it from other like podcasts for like Dancing with the Stars and Bachelor Nation podcast and all that kind of stuff, that like they really need to have like therapists, like mental health people on these shows, because I think it's really needed. Because people just think, oh, like whatever, it's just a show. But people's mental health can be really derailed by this experience, I think.
Yeah.
And so, which is why I would never do this show or this whole franchise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's unfortunate that that happened to her, but it seems like she's kind of come out of it and is healed and everything like that.
Yeah, she looks like she looks like she's in a good spot, which
Yeah.
I'm happy. I mean, at least the way they're portraying her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking they had the parts like when they're bringing all the people in, like they take these times where they like sit down and they make the guys talk about the girls and the girls talk about the guys.
Yeah.
Like, then they sit together, like they pause in between like all the arrivals, and then they had this conversation about guys shaving their legs with Jonathan.
Oh yeah.
And then but it was funny, but then they were like, is it an ick or no? And then they're just like, well, there's worse things to do, like getting serenaded on a first date.
Yes.
And I laugh and I'm like, okay. Because it's a story from college.
Oh wow, okay.
No, I like this guy. He did not ask me on a date, but it was just funny because like I like met him freshman year. Like we walked past each other. Met him in the bookstore, and he knew somebody I knew. So whatever. He asked for my number, and like I think what happened was it was just funny because he was a musician, and I remembered like he was talking, like he was texting me, and then he said something, and I don't think he was like seriously interested. I think he was just like talking to everybody. But he sent this message, and he was saying something like, "I'm gonna write you a song," and I laughed because I have this bright colored backpack. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's this like bright, like
I think so. It sounds familiar, yes.
I was like joking with my friends. I'm like, what is this guy gonna write a song about? Like the girl with the salmon colored backpack? Like that's will be a song. So like when they said that the getting serenaded on a first date, which is like nice, but I just think the first I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a case by case situation,
yeah,
but I just laughed when they said it.
yes, I feel like some people would love it and some people feel like it's a little
Yeah.
weird.
In my situation, it was like this is
Or
not
yeah,
not making sense. You met me for 5 minutes.
exactly. So next
Yeah.
was when Jesse arrives and everybody comes over.
Yeah.
You just get that part?
No, that's fine. Keep
Oh, you have
going.
it.
Yeah.
And then kind of like all the cliffhangers that have been in the previews where he talks about it's the all new Bachelor in Paradise, which you could kind of already tell with it's
Yeah.
very edit. And I guess that you can definitely see the new production crew
Yeah.
and like the handprint on this production and on this season already from the first episode,
Yeah.
even from like the first. Like I saw a lot of people complaining. 5 seconds. Everybody was complaining that there was no almost paradise. Hopefully that comes back.
Wait, I thought they had it, but it was like a different version.
It might have been a different version. I think it wasn't like how they usually, or like the intros, like the
Yeah.
with it playing in the background.
All I know is so Wells Adams, who is the bartender, he was a previous contestant on the show. He is now married to Sarah Hyland, who's from Modern Family, if you don't
Yeah.
know. Wells does a podcast. He does multiple podcasts, but the one I listen to is called Your Favorite Thing with Brandy Cyrus.
Mhm.
And I'll stop on the whole lore of sorry, I smacked in the face. The whole lore of all these things. But so like Wells is the bartender. He's been the bartender for a few years, and like he talks about paradise and stuff on the podcast. And before like any of these promos came out, he's like, I got a glimpse of the footage. These new cameras I got, they are sexy.
Yes.
It looks sexy. Like this footage, he's like this. And I was like, the second I saw the first promo, I'm like, oh, I see
what he means. Yeah, because it does not look anything like a Bachelor show at all.
No, they're trying. Listen, I don't watch any other dating shows. I don't watch Love is Blind
or Love Island or anything like
nothing.
that.
I just like this is the show I have watched since I'm 11 years old. Oh my gosh, I didn't even say that in the intro. I've watched the Bachelor shows since I'm 11 years old.
Wow.
Trista was my first season, first Bachelorette. I have watched Dancing with the Stars since the first season, who Trista was also on that season. So I was like 11 when I started watching all this. I totally forgot.
That's so crazy.
Hopefully people watch this far into the episode.
I hope
anyway,
so. So then
well, yeah, no, I was just gonna say I saw they're trying to like
completely
like these other shows.
Yeah.
It's like you can tell the whole vibe is different.
Yes.
But anyway,
you could definitely tell that for sure.
Yeah.
And I've had people that just like in my family or friends, whatever, watch like Love Island and stuff because it's such like a craze right now.
Yeah.
And like from like the clips and glimpses I've seen of it, it like totally looks like that and not The Bachelor. So it's like it's very interesting. But I think it's pretty cool. And but we'll get to it. There's some interesting editing techniques and choices, and we'll get to that. But then like you were just talking about Wells, he showed up and I love that he's on every season and it's awesome. His commentary is the best. And then Hannah arrived, which we kind of knew. They already I love Hannah. And they announced it beforehand, like on social media, that she was going to be there. And I think her role is actually really cool because she's actually going to be somewhat of like a mentor to these people, where she's like, oh, if you want help, like advice with how to talk to somebody or date or whatever, like come to me, and I have the experience from these shows, like whatever. Yeah. And I think that's super cool.
She also, so like Hannah Brown, and she's like grown so much since the show. She's engaged. I don't know when the wedding is, but I think it's soon. She just came out with her second book. She also did she was doing like YouTube for a while and then she stopped, and then she did a podcast for a while on YouTube, which I think it was also on whatever, but I listened to it on YouTube and it was really good. And I think she is excellent for this role because she has done so much therapy, like really, really deep therapy work on herself.
Right.
That I think like, and I saw a clip, I think she was featured in a magazine or something like on Instagram, and they said like, I've built a brand for myself outside of the show, so like to be asked back was a great thing. Like it was just an added bonus. And I like her a lot. And I think, I'm hoping to see like they show more of her stuff because I felt like we got Will's commentary, which I love, but I want to see more of like Hannah's opinion on
exactly. And I feel like the cool thing, like I said, she's going to be somewhat of like a mentor, and I think that's kind of cool because usually on these shows it's usually like Jesse that has done that kind of stuff, and I'm sure he'll still take part in that, but I think having more people kind of be in that role is really cool. So I think that's awesome. So then Jesse announced that the girls have the roses for the first week. So I think that kind of created some obviously interesting things going on. And I can never take the host or Jesse seriously, or anybody on these shows when they're like in the promos or whatever, in the cliffhangers, where it's like life-changing opportunity. I wrote that down where he was like, oh, this is going to be a life-changing opportunity.
No. I think they said there's something in the promo that they talk about like money. So there's
Yes,
some
so
money
there
on
is
the
some
line.
money on the line.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to see because I don't think the show has really ever, besides Bachelor Pad, has really ever done anything with money. So that would be interesting. I wrote this down because I thought it was so funny when they would, so next they went to go tour
Mhm.
their rooms and everything like that. And I think everybody gets their own room this time,
Yeah.
which they were talking about.
Yeah.
And usually they're like people just like in like the mansion where they're like sharing and stuff like that. In Mexico, it was like I said, all outside and everything like
Mhm.
that. And I love how Hakeem like was just in the fridge and he was like, "We got water bottles in here!" Like he was so excited. He was so excited. But again, that just showed
Yeah.
Hakeem's just like really funny personality. And then yeah, that was pretty much it. And then everybody goes to talk with Wells, which again, you get his commentary, which is great. And then we get our next arrival, which is Justin, which I'm so excited. We are both big fans of Justin, so I'm so happy he's back. And like he said, third time's a charm. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it works out. I
Yeah.
really hope everything. And this is kind of again kind of a storyline that happened with Lexi, and we'll get into it. But everybody was kind of wondering if he's moved on from everything with Susie. That was kind of the way that they edited it. That was like,
And it looks like Susie's going to be coming later on to Paradise. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think they're probably okay.
I'm sure they
Like,
are.
them, I don't think there's going to be an issue with the two of them. But like,
No.
obviously, that's like concerning for Lexi because she does, you don't know.
And I feel like that would be for anybody. Like if you
Yeah.
were getting into a new relationship and then somebody was still on their ex and that's all they were thinking about, I mean, that would obviously create some tension.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it makes sense. And then next I had that Ricky talks with Alex, and then again they just talk about how again what they're doing there and what they're kind of looking for.
Mhm.
And then surprise, I didn't really find this surprising because again I feel like Justin was kind of like bigger name and everything like that, that he
Yeah.
gets the first date card for the season. And Jesse was talking about how it's going to be a dinner and kind of beach club date, I guess you could talk about. And then, do you have something to say about that?
Monsoon, and they got rained out.
Yes.
But like, let me tell you, Lexi looks stunning in that dress.
Yes.
Yeah, she's great. And I think I'll just real quick because like I think she has endometriosis.
She does. That was the whole thing she opened up about.
She's
Yeah.
concerned about having kids, and she is 31.
31, yeah.
And I think that's just, like that was a thing that she brought up with Joey of just like she wants to try to have kids sooner.
And I think for him,
Justin's like 33.
something like that, yeah.
So he's like roughly at least I mean, not that Joey wasn't, but different situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I think that was just like that was the biggest thing with Lexi, and they had a good conversation about that. Like I think he knew enough of Lexi to know that about her.
Exactly. And I wrote down I feel like they could work well together.
Yeah.
It was
I am really hoping for them.
Me too.
Scanning the promos to see, and like they don't look like they're involved in any of it.
So I hope not, because I really think that they could work well together for sure. So then we have a few more conversations. Kyle talked to Bailey, and then Kat talked to Jonathan. Again, same kind of thing. And then Spencer opened up about a story that I forgot his engagement story that he told on Jen's season.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember that until he opened up again. And because then he was talking, I guess just to the group about it. And obviously I think it's very difficult because he was even talking about how like I think it was happening. This whole thing happened with, I guess his ex with that it happened like a few weeks before they were going to get married. So I can't even imagine how painful that would be. Like even if that was just like a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and that would even be hurtful. But with your fiance, when you're about to get married, like I feel like I wouldn't be able to trust relationships probably after that again. And so I'm glad that he was able to grow from it. And I was about to say, I know I have it in my notes, that he talked with Jess about that because I completely forgot he was talking about. But yeah.
That's her experience too, like someone that she was with cheated on her, and then she gives him another chance, and he cheated on her again.
Yeah, and then that's when he opened up, and then they had the first kiss. So maybe we'll see. I mean, I have hope for them too.
Yeah,
so that's good. So we'll see.
Hope for them, yeah.
Yeah, me too. And then like you said, Lexi and Justin's date got rained out, unfortunately, but he did make up for it, and we'll get to that. So now it's on to day 2. Do you have?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm like trying to think what other things did I have other comments. I'm just like, what other phrases? Oh, Spencer at one point was going on and on about like hot girls having IBS. And
yes,
that's what I've learned in my old age, sir. My old age. The animals, they are iguanas.
Yep.
I think the producers and the cast crew brought their dogs.
Oh yeah.
There was like some points. I think there was one part where like Justin and Lexi were talking, the bug and the bird noises were so loud.
Yeah.
I was like listening and I didn't hear it like till I rewatched it earlier today, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so loud. It was so loud.
I had that Hakeem was talking to Bailey, and she was obviously not into it. Like I could tell right away. He was so excited. That was so funny. But then also like he was just like so outgoing. He's like, I'd like to get to know you everything. And she was just like stone faced. She's like, okay, yeah, cool. You could tell she was not into it.
He got friend zoned so hard.
Yeah, he got friend zoned so hard. I feel so bad, but
it's hard because like they're, you know, like obviously they're yeah, I mean it's just like it's really just it's the luck of who is there on the first grouping of people.
Yes.
Like if you're gonna click or you're not, or you're gonna click more than the other person or not, and like, you know, I mean like it, and then like you see it like later on. But
yeah. Anyway. So now we have the very, very big surprise of Dale arriving. I mean, we knew because we saw spoilers, but very big entrance, obviously comes in on a yacht, like all just, hey, I'm here, everybody. And then obviously all the girls are smitten and then are just so excited to see him. Like everybody was like, oh, forget the guys I'm talking about too. I've been talking to for the first day. Like I want him now. And then just like Justin, now Dale gets a date card too. And it was for a ride on the yacht that he came in on. And then all the guys start getting jealous of him. Makes sense. But and then he kind of starts talking to everybody, kind of to see who he wants to, maybe he has a connection with, and he ends up picking Kat.
Yes.
So
well, before that, because they were like him talking to all the girls.
Yeah.
I was laughing because there was a comment about they're like, oh my gosh, he has the sweat like going through his shirt and you can see the outline of his abs.
Oh yeah.
And I looked at what they were talking about, and the way I think what happened was it was not sweat. It was he hugged Zoe.
Yes.
His bathing suit was still wet because if you see the imprint on his shirt, it was like in here and then a little down. And I'm like, you people, that's not.
That's
anyway,
not.
I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
And then Alex was so nervous.
She's
adorable, and
she's so sweet. Yeah.
See them together. Like I love Alex.
Yeah, me too. She was like she couldn't even talk. It was so funny. And so now I was
just gonna say, I do like the fact that I don't know, they've done it on previous seasons too, but they do show a lot of these like awkward conversations, and I think that's when my mom was like, also
what's
like,
going on?
What are they? I'm like, Mom, they're having these conversations. Like, this is normal life.
Yeah.
Respect. So I just thought it was
yeah. So next we got to probably my favorite part, but also the most traumatizing part of this episode. And I remember we were talking about where we couldn't handle this. Now, so since like I said, he picks Kat for the date. Oh, you have more?
No, keep going.
Are you sure?
Okay. About Kat.
Okay. So they go on the date, and here's where one of the very funny editing techniques comes in. I mean, I could not with this like reenactment with Dale in the sunscreen. Like
it is burned into my retinas, not for like reasons that I want it to be, because I don't. No, I don't want to
see it, but it just is going to be, and I think that's going to be one of the most iconic probably things in Bachelor history at this point, because it literally looked like I actually saw on one of like the Bachelor like meme Instagram accounts that was like it looks like this like perfume commercial or cologne commercial with like the slow-mo and stuff.
I guess it was sun lotion. They were trying to like have Kat describe like this like fantasy, and then he's like spraying himself and this whole thing.
Yeah.
But the reason that I was laughing is because, well, wait, I don't know. Do you want to give more explanation about it before I get into my...
Go ahead. No, I think I'm good.
So, okay, we have to do a little Bachelor Nation history here.
Yes.
So, Katie Thurston's season was like a few years back, and there is this like bromance that was born of out of the show from some of the contestants.
Yes.
And they are people that, you know, and we'll get to them. So like there's three main people in this bromance, but it extends to other contestants.
Every people.
And it is Greg Grippo, Andrew Spencer, and Justin Glaze. And Justin is on the episode. I think Andrew comes later. So, you know, over the years they have had wonderful Instagram and social media content that is hysterical. And so Greg and Justin recently did one that was a sponsored ad for Dove men's like whole body deodorant. And basically it's like Greg calls like, you know, they're being sarcastic. He calls Justin. He's like, I'm just gonna wish you good night, which I think is a TikTok trend.
Yeah.
TikTok a few years ago, and I'm so lost. So they do this whole thing, and then they have Greg spray like him. He's like, hold on, I just got to spray myself down.
Yeah.
He sprays himself, and then he pulls his shorts and sprays down there. And then like Justin's like teasing him and he's like, oh, you want your clementines to smell fresh in the morning and this whole thing. So I've been like cracking up at this video the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And then I see Dale on my screen.
And you're like,
open his shirt
you're like,
and spray. And I'm like, what in the world is this? Like, it's just hysterical because I posted on the story on our Instagram of like, is that Dale spraying Dove men's whole body deodorant?
It's like, you're gonna make the comparison.
I just like, and unfortunately in the clip of the reel that shows on the story, you don't get to that part, but it just, I was cracking up.
That's so funny. Do you have any more notes about that date, or it seemed like yeah.
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, before that, like when Kat was like commenting on Dale, she was just like, you know, men above the age of 30, they have less testosterone.
Yes.
And they're, you know, they're like sleepier. You know, we love a tired man. And I'm like, as a woman, I in my mid-30s, and I'm like, I see this.
You're like, I agree with that.
I'm sorry, I know you.
No, I get that. I get it.
And I was just also realizing, I'm like, Kat kind of looks like Claire.
Oh yeah, I get
like,
that. It's kind of not exactly, but I can see it.
There's a similarity there.
Yes,
then,
totally.
what else did I say about that? Yeah, I mean, I think that it seemed like it was a good date, except that she got seasick, but then they kissed, so it worked out.
That's what I said. It was like I put
worst nightmare.
Exactly. Right, worst night. Exactly.
Getting seasick.
But I thought it was so funny because I had like, it was rocky boat and she was getting seasick, but then they kissed. So I guess she was okay.
You know.
I mean, I guess kissing heals all wounds. Like, I guess I don't know, but and so is that what you had for the day?
That's all I had.
Okay, so next thing I had was they played this really interesting game where they brought everybody together, where they played this game about
they called it an intellectual
exercise.
They do, it's an interesting terminology, but I really liked it.
Yeah, me too. So it was where they were telling facts about each other where looks are not like involved at all. So it was kind of just kind of how they get to know each other. But I think it's really cool because I feel like then it kind of takes out kind of, I guess, any, I guess, kind of advantage, or I guess whatever, like you want to call it. So I thought that was really cool. I didn't really write down much of the, like, I guess, results from that game, but I did write down that Ricky had said that he was a big dancer, so I thought that was cool since we also have this for dance. So I was like, that's all I had. Did you have anything?
I thought it was good because it's like, okay, so I think they're trying to change it up, and it's like, yeah, obviously they all have time to like sit and talk to each other, but I thought, I mean, like, I used to watch Bachelor Pad, and that was like more about money and love and all this thing. And I've recently watched Claim to Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a very different type of show. Again, it's like a competition for like money and winning and stuff. But they play these like crazy games and Claim to Fame. And hopefully that's being renewed soon.
I hope so.
I love that show. So we have not discussed it on the podcast, but it is a good show.
Yes.
You know, it's just so much TV time. But no, it was cool because it reminded me of like with like Claim to Fame, and they have to like learn these things about the other people. And I think in this part, it was just like, you know, you think about like people using like the dating apps and stuff, and you see these things about the person, and I'm like, okay, you know, they have an opportunity to be like, I'm interested to know you because of things like that might not come up in a natural conversation while they're on the beach.
Right.
So I did really like that. I think it's a good way to like just like add some, you know, like things to the game. The ones of I think it was Spencer that can bounce his pecs.
Yes. I was like, okay.
And then it does spur the argument between Ricky and Hakeem about like, I'd rather be hated than vanilla. And then I had to like, when I rewatched it, I was like, okay, so basically I guess Hakeem got offended by Ricky calling him vanilla.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, but it was like, it got way too out of control. And he's like, vanilla's in the middle, you know? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But it was so much. And that's where my mom, I think, was like, okay, I don't know how much I can handle this. I didn't get it. And I was trying to explain to her like what it means. I think there was the other thing that, Anyway, that's what happens is then they segued it because they had an extra person. And they're like, well, who is this person?
And we know, of course, we know who it is. It was Sam. And
it kind of looks like Sean Booth.
It kind of looks like Sean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Again, like I said it earlier.
Like we're not. Yeah.
He was like a villain on his season, or like looked at as a villain on his season, and I don't like. He's just fine. You know, like whatever. He comes in. It's a lot of the things that happen on the prior season is just like things happen and they get like the story arc. So it's like you want to give them the benefit of the doubt in this situation, but. He gets the date card, and then he asks Jess on the date, and she said yes. And like they didn't show much editing, but I don't think she talked to Spencer about it. She just was like, yeah.
And then they show Spencer like spiraling. I was like, well, what happened? I did thought we were
Yeah.
just talking and everything was cool. And then she goes out with Sam.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's hard because it's like you're in this, and this is why the show does this, because they know that they're like, okay, because the girls have the roses this week, they send more guys in. So the
Yeah.
guys are in competition for the girls.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, everything's supposed to change next week, but typically then it will be like, okay, next week the guys have the roses, so more girls come in because the girls are competing for the attention of the guys.
Yeah.
That's typically what happens, and then that's how they do the ratio. But it's hard because it's kind of like, sometimes people get to this point where you're at the rose ceremony and it's just like, well, I want their rose, but like if somebody comes down next week, I'm interested in them.
Yeah, for sure.
So like it really boils down to like every person and every couple, like at whatever stage you're at, to have this conversation of like, but are you going to entertain other things? Like, and especially in this first week, there's a big vibe of like, you want to be open to explore whatever,
right,
comes up. So anyway.
So yeah. So the next thing I had, and I thought, again, I'm really hoping they show more of this, and I think they will throughout the season, but they showed Justin talking with Hannah to help kind of make up the date that he was planning.
Yes.
And I thought that was really cool because, again, you could tell that Hannah is very smart and about everything, I guess, with this whole world. And she seems like she is able to give really good advice and be supportive of everybody and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. And then Jeremy and Bailey were talking, and they seem to have a good connection. And then they kissed. So
and then she started talking to Kyle.
And she started talking to Kyle. So then it's just I guess like there's no rules on Paradise, so it's just like whatever. And then like I said, they showed. Oh, go ahead.
Alex and Ricky.
Oh, Alex and Ricky. Yes.
I mean, I don't know if there's stuff in between. I was just
yeah
for that part.
I was just saying that again, Spencer, they kind of show Spencer spiraling.
He forgot she went on the date at one point.
Yeah.
I think he was going to go by her room, and then he's like, they're like, she's on the date. He's like, oh yeah, or something like that.
Exactly.
I don't know if my imitation was
exactly. And I think that's kind of the one downfall, I guess, to Paradise, even though it's kind of the way it's set up, so it kind of comes with the territory. But I do feel bad for Spencer because then, like, you feel like, oh, you have this connection and everything, and then, like, again, it's TV. But, like, you feel like in a real setting or a setting of, I guess, just you want to let somebody know. It's like, hey, I'm going to kind of explore this rather than kind of leaving him in the dark. And then it's just like, okay. So, yeah, that's all I had with that. And then I had that Sam and Jess go on their date.
Yes.
Do you have something before that?
No, it's about the date.
Oh yeah, so they did one of like they do this on every season. They do a ritual date and they make it seem like and they edit it, which makes it seem so cringy and so weird. I know it's not, but like they just make it seem like that, and it's like
I will say it didn't seem as cringy
this time. No, it didn't.
No, that was a good thing because that is something that I've picked on in the past. It just all came back to me now. They made them go, they're in Costa Rica, and then they have like different like. I guess it was like indigenous tribe or something like that.
A lot of these countries have those.
That's what I haven't liked in the past is sometimes like when I feel like when the Bachelor shows have showed people going to these countries where they're going to partake in like a ritual that's like from an indigenous tribe. Yeah. Sometimes I almost feel like they're mocking it.
No, me too.
Like that.
Yeah, I know that's not nice.
They didn't do it this time.
No, thankfully.
I mean, there's always like the joke of the fact that like they start the date and they're like, we're gonna do this fire ritual. Yeah. Like, please disrobe as you're comfortable. And I'm like, they always have to do the date where they make them take the clothes off and put the thing oil on the fire and the whole thing with this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is way too intimate for a first date. Yes. They barely met each other. And it's just, it's like these things, it's like supposed to be this nice couple bonding thing. Yeah. I thought they were okay on the date together, but like it's just she was thinking of Spencer.
Yeah, she was thinking of Spencer.
It wasn't as bad as they've done it in the
past. Totally, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed in the past that like they've played the like comedic music behind all this stuff. And I'm like, that's not funny. I mean, that's not what the whole point is, like what they're doing. But they didn't. Thankfully this time. But
and like I like a believer in some stuff with like, energy and things like that. And like, I believe in a lot of that. So it's like, I don't like when they make it like a mockery of it because it's just like, that's also a thing. So I didn't hear any of that.
No, they didn't.
So that was good.
They did do, again, montage editing where they had like the horror movie music where Spencer was thinking about Jess. And I thought that was so funny just because it was so like, just so funny how that was happening, and I love how they cut out of it, and then Spencer was just like, "I'm okay," and then that's all he said, and it's a whole thing. But it seems that they're like kind of really hyping up those skits this season, but I don't know. That's what I have.
I think that was it. And then they cut to like Zoe and Brian had like they had their own like little like date night on the beach thing. And then they kiss and they're bonding over the fact that they want athletic kids. So that's just
yeah.
They want that they talk about.
Yeah. What else do I have? I have that. Oh yeah. I mean, kind of same thing, but she was debating on who she was going to give the rose to on the date.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I guess they showed that montage is because she was still thinking about Spencer, even though she was with Sam. And then yeah, that was pretty much all I had. So, did you have anything else?
No, I think that was it.
Okay, so next thing I had. Oh yeah.
Oh, no, Bailey and Jeremy were next.
Yeah, Bailey and
Jeremy. About Zoe and Brian.
Yes. So Bailey and Jeremy were next. What did you have for that?
I think they were just talking again.
Yeah,
right. Just Bailey and Jeremy again.
Yeah. So
then I talked about juggling.
Oh,
Justin was juggling.
Yes.
And then Justin and Lexi have a date.
Yes, they have a date.
And that's when they talked about with Susie.
Yep. And so they went to like kind of a pool, kind of it seemed like it was kind of probably staying like close to the resort, but like they went kind of like a private pool area and then they talk about Susie. Like we said before, they wanted to Lexi really wants to make sure that he's healed from that relationship, which again, valid concern and kind of thought. And he said he's really trying to be present with her. So you can tell he's really wanting to make this work.
Having been a fan of Justin.
Yes.
And I like he's awesome. Like, I mean, honestly, if you don't watch the Bachelor shows, even like just following Justin on Instagram is cool because he's an artist and he does like he's been doing a lot of stuff. Years ago he painted this mural for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh yeah.
I think it's still there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
He's also been on this thing where he's been painting on like a whole like card deck, like all 52 cards. He like takes the card and then he paints it and I think he was doing something with like donating it.
Yeah.
But it's really he's really cool and I do feel like I don't think he would go on the beach because he also was on Paradise previously and it didn't like work out so well. I don't think he would go if he wasn't
like serious. Open to
it. I sense him like I don't know, maybe it's the whole thing with the like over 30 thing because I think he was under 30 when he was on the show the last time. More so, and I see him more like composed and
for sure. I really hope they work out because I think that they look really good together and seem like they work well. So
but they show the whole thing of her paranoid about it, like right before we get to the rose ceremony. We're getting to that point.
Yes. And so next, so I guess we'll go into the cocktail party / rose ceremony. Again, like we said, the girls have the roses, so that was kind of a whole theme of the cocktail party where they were kind of like, oh, the guys have the good time with the girls because obviously then it's kind of they're more of the priority. With the roses, and then I have that Jess talks with Spencer, then Dale with Kat, or Kat with Dale, and then Joey and Brian. They all talk together, and then because of that, so there are 10 girls and 6 guys, and so so there's 4 going home. Same thing. They were kind of like playing up everything with Lexi is still hesitant. Again, totally understand, but it seems that they kind of moved forward and it was like she was able to kind of be okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And then Alex and Ricky were talking and she was saying how she really likes how he's very straightforward and that he was saying he really knows what he wants and feels that I felt so bad for Jonathan that she was saying, oh, I think he's a little bit more closed off.
Yeah, well, because they're showing like they gotta hone in on every girl's indecision about every single thing. And I'm like, honestly, everybody picked the way I thought they were going.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. So then and I just wrote Hakeem is so funny because again, you gotta
the phrase he said?
Yes, the phrase.
He was like something, I get what they doing, cheers?
I think so.
And he goes like, here's to more sex. Positive something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Hakeem. And then this was like getting into the rose ceremony.
Yeah.
So I will say, like, I just put the note at this point. I think there was some part of it that I was like, I just felt like the episode went really slowly. And I do sometimes feel, I think it was partially the editing because they made it like this dreamier thing. Yeah. And it's 3 hours long. And I don't know. I feel like the first episode of any of the seasons is like, oh my gosh, okay, because either it's that or it's like the limo entrance.
Yeah.
It can drag.
Yeah.
But so like if you're new to watching the show, just like it does pick up typically. I mean, this is the new editing, but like, I think the first episode, they're just trying to give you enough background. Yeah. That way, if you haven't watched the other shows, like you know enough about these people.
Right. So like you had said, did you have anything else? Yeah. So then the rose ceremony, no surprises. I can just go down the list.
Oh, well, I was going to say the thing at the rose
ceremony. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Hakeem was doing the most. He was talking to every single girl.
Yes.
No, I'm sure like they had more meaningful conversations, but they literally just showed him like,
to
connect with every single girl and like not doing well.
Yeah.
At least in a romantic sense, you know.
Right.
And then Kyle made the comment about something you could be the juiciest peach, but some folks don't like peaches.
Yep.
And Jeremy, okay, that was Okay, Jeremy made a comment about saying that he was interested in exploring other options where like Kyle seems to like be more committed to Bailey, but I don't know. At least at that point, I kind of like later on when I saw some of the promos, I take this back, but like I felt like I'm like, well, Bailey would probably explore another option like in a week or two if that was given to her at that point too. But like and again, that's the whole thing. But anyway, you can go down the list.
Okay. So again, like we said, no surprises. So Lexi gave the vote to Justin, Zoe to Brian, Kat with Dale, Jess with Spencer. I thought that was a good choice because they were kind of making the cliffhanger. She might pick Sam, but
yeah.
I think just from that original connection she had with him, I thought she made the right choice. Bailey with Jeremy and Alex with Jonathan. And then again, so I thought there was really no surprises with that.
Hakeem, Sam, Kyle, and Ricky all went home.
Oh,
I mean, Kyle seemed cool because like we didn't know him. Like they all seemed fine. Like I think even Jess and Sam were fine. They just didn't click.
Yeah.
Like Hakeem, I just don't think clicked with anybody, and then Ricky, I think also like fine. You know,
exactly.
I mean, it's hard because it is hard because it's like you don't know, one of the girls could come the next week and then they could have
done
him, but it's just as we have seen, people connect off the show. Sometimes they connect off the show before the show, but at least at this point now they friends with the people.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason I'm sad about Hakeem is that that's going to take away a lot of the comedic energy, but I mean, we'll still see him.
Like, because like he's the only one that, because like Justin in the first season that Justin was in, like his facial expressions were iconic.
Yes.
Iconic. I think there's like GIFs and memes
everywhere
of his faces from that first season. So I'm like, him and Hakeem together like just would have been like golden, no pun intended with that golden content.
Yes.
But I'm like, it's okay.
Yes.
We'll just rely on it.
Exactly. And so kind of just wrapping up the episode. So they did the kind of season preview, I guess. And so just like every other season, whether it's Paradise, Bachelor, whatever, Jesse was like, oh, everything's about to change. So they really played that up. Yeah. And then it seems like a lot of new people, like you said, are arriving every single week. So like you said, we get the Goldens arriving next week, but it seems like we get a lot of non-Goldens arriving throughout the season as well. And so I think that will be really fun. And I wrote the Goldens are so great. I think that's going to be so much fun.
I was just going to say, like just from like going over the promos again.
Yeah.
They had a part. So it looks like it's April and Dale that are kissing in the promo because I paused it on my iPad and I saw Susie does show up. Honestly, it looks so messy, like for the younger group.
Yeah.
But the Goldens do seem to have like some wisdom. At least that's the way they edited it, of like the Goldens saying like positive things. And I think Wells has said that much in the show of like it's a very interesting season, and you see the Goldens were like almost like partying more than the younger ones because they just they have a different take on life. And apparently there's money on the line. And I think, I was going to just say, if you have more comments, but I wanted to make sure that I talk about just like, if people want to start watching the show, we've inspired them, what they can do and like what's going on next week. So do you have any other comments?
All I had was that, like we had talked about, I thought it was overall a very good premiere episode. It just was very long, but like you had said, I think that's usually for most of the premieres of these shows is that like they're usually like, oh, big 3-hour premiere or whatever, and it's like by like hour 2 you're like, okay, I'm done. But like we love watching it, but then now we're recapping it again, so like we kind of have to sift through it and watch it, but we enjoy it. But yeah, it can kind of drag on for a little bit.
So I will say, so if you want to go back and watch, the show is normally on ABC on Mondays at 8 Eastern time. It is also on Hulu the next day. So you can watch this episode on Hulu. Next week, specifically, the 14th, the Monday, they're going to have like episode 2, and then episode 3 is going to be on Tuesday. There's going to be like 2 episodes next week where the Goldens arrive. I know we're going to have some scheduling conflicts of just like as far as watching the show, recording. So
we'll work that out.
Yeah, just like stay tuned on social media. We'll keep you guys updated when we can get to post the episode. And I think that's it. Oh my gosh, we finished.
We finished it. We did it. It's so crazy.
All right, we gotta wrap ourselves up.
Yes, let's do it. Thank you guys so much again for listening and watching our first episode back of season 2. It's been so, like I said, a long time coming, and this was really fun. And we're just so, I think, grateful to be back doing this and having content for you all. So this is really awesome. So thank you guys again so much for listening and watching. If you enjoyed this episode or any content that we've done in the past, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. And also consider subscribing to us at Ballrooms and Bachelors on Instagram, because we have a lot of crazy content that we try to do and relate with the show and everything like that. So we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
And now we're off to the dance studio.
Yes. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.